Merry Christmas Eve, everyone, and welcome back to Brown Bag Bets. Powered by BETSPERTS, we are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. And I mentioned Christmas, Andy, because this will be our last show before the Christmas break. We won't be on tomorrow. We'll be traveling various places, eating lots of food. But we can't let you get away for the weekend and the holiday without a little Fallica football. So I'm sorry we don't have the extra Friday F. Mr. Fallica, how are you? How was vacation? How was Turks? How was Caicos?
Oh, it was great. A nice little 2-week weekend getaway to see the sun and feel nice and warm. It really was great. It would have been better if the Chargers would have covered on Thursday night like they should have, and maybe Brandon Staley should take the field goal before half, because if you don't get the touchdown there, it's the end of the half, and it's not like you're pinning your opponent down inside the 5-yard line. So he absolutely should have taken the points there. I have no problem with the other one, but I'm a little bitter the Chargers didn't get that cover. Right side, wrong result.
I think that's the first time all year the analytics community and the take the points squad were in full agreement, because part of going for it on fourth down there, part of the equation is if you don't get it, they have 99 yards to go, and the field position is awful. It just doesn't apply when you're going into half. I'm a full agreement, and yeah, the Chargers not covering was a travesty. I've had some bad luck with late game stuff of late, and I've kind of forgotten about that game. It's been a while now, and yeah,
I'm sorry to re-had some bad memories.
Yeah, opening fresh wounds. I'm sure
right out of the gate.
Yeah, I'll have some new ones this weekend. It was the only day, and yesterday was the only day we haven't had NFL in a long time. We go right back at it tonight. And off the bat, we haven't talked much NFL with you because we lean on you so heavily for college all year, but you wanted to talk about an adjusted NFL win total. Is this something?
Yeah, it's funny. This is probably going to be it's probably going to be the last week it's up, and I don't know if they'll take him down tonight after the first game is played. But I was fooling around on DraftKings the other day just to see if I could get any middles on some totals that I already have, and I noticed that the Texans win total was 3.5, and it was -120. I mean, they're sitting at 3, so if they win again, you're done. But they're not going to beat the Chargers this week. They're not going to win at San Francisco next week. And the Titans, who they play in the final week of the regular season, the Titans might need that game for either the division title or a while, depending on what happens tonight and next week. So at the very least, you're probably in a position where if you take the Texans under the 3.5, they'll be an underdog the final game of the season against Tennessee, and you can probably play around and guarantee yourself something at the very least on a Titans money line bet as an underdog. But I thought the Titans under 3.5 was something that looked pretty appealing to me based on who they have left on the schedule.
Yeah, we've had a couple of these games where they've played some bad teams. They're done with Jaguars games. They now have the season sweep over the Jaguars, which if you're not a Jaguars fan and you're feeling bad already, sorry that I had to remind you of that. Because
imagine this though. Imagine being the Buffalo Bills and you might not win the AFC East because you lost to Jacksonville.
Yeah. Every year there's just one game that I'll look back on and never ever be able to explain, and I think that's that one. Because the Bills have had their trials and tribulations this year, and they're looking at a rough one this year too. Like, he's not their first receiver, but boy, Beasley, you just seen this coming with somebody who was outspoken about it. Like, if people want to argue vaccination this, vaccination that, like when it comes down to it, it was an agreement between the players' union and the NFL. And these are the rules they came up with, and everybody knew it. And now the players who are not vaccinated, if they pop a positive, it's 10 days. So it's a tough look in a week where they're going to need a win. So yeah, but you bring up a good point. That Jags game might loom large in the final standings here. Bowl game tonight? Is there one? Yeah.
Yuck, yeah. Yeah, we got two.
Oh,
we got
North
two
Texas.
bowl games
It's like
today.
too excited, I guess.
One in the afternoon and one tonight.
Oh shit! Yeah, we get afternoon football again. I was a little mad about that yesterday. I was kind of expecting football in the afternoon. I had to wait until the evening. Ended up watching a lot of that game. It turned out pretty good. Obviously, everybody who had an Army early number, it was kind of like getting the early number on the Packers for me the other week. There, Noops, where the Ravens came in and made a mockery of my Packers -2. But everybody who got an early Army number, good job. Sorry, that's how it shakes out sometimes because. It just didn't matter. It didn't matter. Missouri played pretty tough, but yeah. You are thinking this is probably going to cancel. We've had some weird stuff, but you did want to talk about the ACC bowl game bet Is it going to be bad luck draw, bad luck push for you on this one
Yeah,
anyway?
I think so. And what you're referring to is I had played an ACC conference bowl win total under 5.5 at DraftKings. Just looking at a lot of toss-up type games, figuring 5-5 was probably the best case scenario, given you had a Miami team who knows who's going to be able to play in their bowl game, and some of the other spots I didn't necessarily like for the ACC. But now with Wake Forest not playing Texas A&M, I'm sure that that bet's going to be null and void, being that all games are not being played as listed. So that of those conference win totals for the bowls, that was the one I liked the most. But unfortunately, it's going to be void, and that's just kind of a lesson for bowl betting this year. You really don't want to commit to anything too early. You don't want to make too many like opener type plays, because who the hell knows what's going to happen. Like I played 2 openers. I played San Diego State plus 2.5, and I played Oregon State -7. So I went 1-1 there, and then I like being a lot more reactive during bowls. Like last night, I before the bowl season started, I never would have thought I'd want any part of Missouri, but then I saw Army play against Navy, and that completely changed my opinion there. And then we got the added bonus with the line jumping up to 6.5 yesterday with the Missouri guys not playing. So we got good with Missouri yesterday. That worked out well for me. So hopefully we can look for it. But I was talking to producer Dan offline yesterday or the day before, and like this upcoming week of bowl games is absolute dog doo-doo. I mean, I have like no desire to bet on anything.
Excited for Memphis, Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's like
God.
the equivalent of like coal in the stocking.
East Carolina,
the team
Boston
that hates
College,
their head coach and rebelled against their head coach against Memphis on Christmas Eve.
Louisville Air Force.
Yeah, these
bad.
are.
Wow.
I'm kind of looking. I mean, I
Texas
guess
Tech,
maybe
Mississippi State. Ugh.
I could get excited for Houston Auburn a little. I
That's
feel
not
like
unexciting.
I know Auburn has a little thing going on with their quarterback. That's a light way to put it. Dan did hop in the chat, and that's kind of where we're going to lead with talking about the ACC bet, which probably was a good bet. It's funny too. I feel like those season win, what do you want to call them? Conference win total over unders that they set for the bowl season. It was something that was sort of new 3-4 years ago, and obviously we all know the guy, but Dan and Chris know him a little better. Lockie Lockerson, he was the one that kind of pointed those out like 4 winters ago, I think,
Mhm.
where there was one of the offshores had like alternate lines. You could bet like under 1.5 in the Pac-12, and they had like 6 games or something. I think some people took advantage of those. Those were certainly fun bets. But yeah, Dan asked like, how are you even approaching betting Wake Forest Rutgers? Like we tried to talk about that. Well, like I guess the kids from Rutgers get to go to Florida for the holidays, but it's a weird spot where they weren't planning on playing football. Some of them maybe ever again, you know?
It's funny. You and my wife, we were sitting down last night, and I had the game on. I wouldn't say she was watching it because she was more occupied with her iPad. And then she's like, I just hear say, "Oh, Rutgers might play in the." She's like, are they like even going to be like ready to play? Can they be like in football shape and game prep after not practicing for like 3 weeks, and then like I'm like, I don't think so. But the State University of New Jersey gets to go to a bowl game now. We can all rejoice in that.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
mean, I don't know how you could. I'm sure what will wind up happening is they'll set a Wake Forest number minus whatever, and it'll get steamed up to whatever, because everyone will have that logic of there's no way Rutgers will be able to play in the game, and everyone will bet Wake Forest and over, and then people will come in and buy back whatever it comes out to, and then they'll try and set up a middle. So I'm pretty sure that's probably what's going to happen.
That would be smart. I like a nice middle.
I too love a nice middle,
Who
especially
doesn't?
at a bowl game. There was a bowl game you did want to talk about. It looks like this one
It was
is
an ACC bowl game.
It is an ACC bowl game. I'm trying to
Yeah.
look at what day this even is. I'm
This is the
just.
20
It feels like
29th.
a Friday. It's felt like a Friday for like 3 days for me, and it's weird. It's weird that we're even talking. Like Dan and I brought that up. There's a NFL football game tonight, but yeah, ACC game. Clemson, 1-point favorite over ISU. Nice low total here. Where is this one? I didn't
This is
even
in beautiful downtown Orlando, as Lee Corso would say.
Oh yeah.
I believe this is formerly the the Camping World Bowl / Florida Citrus Sports Bowl / Russell
Camping
Athletic Bowl. I think this bowl game has changed names like 4 times in the last like half a dozen years. So I think we now landed on the Cheez-It Bowl, I believe, is what this is this year.
Oh, the Cheez-It Bowl was the one that
That's
got
pretty
weird a
good.
couple years ago.
That's an
I
improvement.
remember
It
that.
is.
Everybody had a fun Cheez-It Bowl. Did you you got a bet? You got something you like in this one? I have not.
I do like
ahead of
Iowa
this
State.
next week.
Yeah, I do like Iowa State here, and this is a Clemson team that you lose both coordinators. It's a team that the quarterback position has been a mess all year long. You're used to playing in the college football playoff, and now you're going to Orlando in a couple of days after Christmas and playing Iowa State. And Iowa State doesn't sound good to Clemson, but they've got a really good defense. And sure, Brees Hall is not playing, but Kohler is playing. McDonald's coming back. I think they're going to be okay at the running back position. Other than that, for Iowa State to go to a bowl game and beat Clemson, which has been one of the dominant programs in the country over the last half a dozen years, that would matter to Iowa State. And really, despite being a disappointing season, I think that would cap off their year, at least to give some sense of accomplishment. So I don't think it's going to be a very high-scoring game, but I do think Iowa State will keep that Clemson offense in check, and I do like the Cyclones to get that win.
That'll be good. But it'd be nice to have something to bet on that day, a little college football. Iowa State's always kind of a fun team, so that'll be an interesting game.
Yeah, I root against them pretty hard. I just have one guy in my fantasy football league back home that's real hardcore cycling. He's got a Cyclones tattoo and stuff, and we always get to the fantasy football draft turns into us drinking, and then 2 or 3 guys telling how the Vikings are going to win like 13 games that year, and we have some side bets, and then he and eventually we start talking college, and he explains how Iowa State's going to win the Big 12 every year, and it's always fun to text him once they start bottling it away. Although it's been a fun last few years for them. Like they've been a team of some relevance, and it's been a little while for them. So otherwise,
by the way, you said the Vikings. That reminds me. I think I lied to producer Dan yesterday when we was talking about games. There was another game that actually popped up during the podcast yesterday that Stanford Steve and I were doing. I like the Gophers minus the 4.5 against West Virginia. It's a West Virginia offense that has kind of been hit or miss all year long, and now you don't have Letty Brown. The way the Gophers ended the year, beating Wisconsin to win the Axe, their defense has played really well throughout the most of the season, and you know that if they're in a bowl game, PJ Fleck is going to have them invested in playing and winning that bowl game. So yeah, I'm going to lay the 4.5 with the Gophers too, so you can talk about that at your fantasy playoff football draft, where I'm going to be on the Vikings this week too. So you can, I'm going to live vicariously through you. I'm an honorary Minnesotan this coming couple of weeks.
Man, I try to stay off them, but I'm probably betting the Vikings too. I do think that's the right side. And you brought up a good point about the bowl games. Now you didn't get too involved too early. Alex and I and Drew on the other show have been talking about that all week. Like, we preach it all year. It's like if you wake up 2 hours before kickoff on NFL Sunday, or even 2 hours before kickoff on college Saturday, and you just start firing on the board, like you're betting into some bad numbers sometimes. You should have probably tracked it through the week and planned an entry point, and that's what we preached for years. Said throw all that away right now. Like this is not the time nor the place with all the COVID stuff, and we don't even know the rules anymore and how they changed the rules in the NFL and the NBA. Said you're perfectly fine pumping the brakes, maybe lightening the load a little this week, or just waiting to find out. Like do you remember the Washington stuff from the other night, Chris, where they basically said they have a private jet ready in case the quarterbacks test.
We have the test that's off in Jersey, and as soon as we hear, we can fly them up to the game if need be. But you're right. It's so funny. You talked about like an entry point, and during the course of the season on Daily Wager, we did like our triple option, and like I'm a guy who I like to wait it out. I like to get the lay of the land. I like to kind of read and react and obtain information and get in. If I'm not getting in Sunday at an opener, I'll wait until Thursday or Friday, and then the producer like, oh yeah, you're going to go on Tuesday I'm like, who the hell's making a real bet on Tuesday? That's like the never land of betting. Like, I don't get to bet the opener. I don't get to bet on Friday after getting. You're going to bet in the middle, and my record sure showed my disdain for trying to read the tea leaves on Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday, you're right. Tuesday is kind of a tweener area. If you're not just going to bet the straight openers on NFL or college football, the only time I probably ever make a bet on like Monday or Tuesday is injury news. Like, oh, we need to get this in before the whole world figures out this guy's out or something like that. Because yeah, you do run into a tweener thing, and I know you too, Alex. It's been a real pain in the ass with the NBA for the last couple days.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's at least they're postponing games, I guess. At least I'm not like just losing a bunch of players and then they play and I lose. I don't try to stay positive.
Well, here's the NHL. I mean, the NHL showed the virus though. We're gonna cancel for 5 days and then we're gonna be back and all's gonna be good. They're gonna show the virus who's boss. 5 days will solve it all.
Yeah, that's gonna be such a mess. And they do have. Obviously we have it with NBA a little bit, but man, the NHL has it rough just with the amount of international travel and the fact that Canada has completely different rules. I don't even follow hockey that closely, and I'm very interested to see how they handle this in the next, over the next few months, because Canada might just completely say no more coming over here, and we might just turn it into those pods again. So it'll be very curious to see what happens in the NHL. You joke about, we talked about the ACC bet canceling because of the change in the bowl game. Like, what if the NHL has to do something like that? Basically, every single regular season points total bet, like almost any regular season hockey bet, might just cancel because of that. It'd be hopefully they keep the awards ones up. So we do have some good Connor McDavid prices. We want to make sure he gets there with.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day about all my NHL points bets. Like, if the schedules change, I mean, I think the only one I'm looking okay on my points bets right. I think the Wild one I'm a little on the fence with because I was under there and I was under on the Penguins, which could still be fun. But most of the other ones I'm okay with right now, and I got a really good odds to win the conference and the Stanley Cup on the Panthers before the year I played it. So that was getting ahead of it. So I got some good closing line value on the Panthers to win the cup. Great. So you have to see what happens.
I'd say my biggest one is Islanders over. So let's go ahead and just cancel the season. It's fine.
as an Islanders fan,
Bo and Kelly talked me into that, Alex. So I got some of that too. I was looking through accounts and I saw that, and I went and looked at the standings. I'm like, oh, yeah, we can just call this season. It's fine. So, but yeah,
they were behind the 8 ball from the start of the season with the new arena and starting the year with 14 straight road games, whatever it was. That was terrible. But I did make my my happiness hedge bet though. I did bet the Rangers point total over and the Rangers to win the division, just so if they do wind up doing that, I'll be at least financially rewarded and pissed off that they had a good year at the same time.
And we have a tennis chat with a pretty heavy Islanders fan, and he's very adamant about management, and I don't follow it close enough, but he's super mad about what's going on there. It's exciting. The new arena is exciting, and I love what they did with it. Yeah, very disappointing year from our Isles. And with that, we'll let you go. It's holidays. Go enjoy your weekend. Long weekend, hopefully for you. I know you just came back from vacation, but still, it's a holiday weekend. We got 2 in a row.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great to just kind of be sitting at home. My wife and myself and the cats, because we hosted Thanksgiving, so everyone was here, and we're just going to kind of enjoy the first Christmas in the new house, which will be great. And then off to Miami on Tuesday. I did have one other game that I did like, and it's probably going to move quite a bit. So you can probably still get Miami Wazoo at a pick. Maybe you can find a stray Miami -1 somewhere. I think that game is New Year's Eve as well. Like I can't see how you can back Miami here. They're not, their situation isn't as bad as A&M where they're not going to play the game, but I think the sentiment down there, certainly from people I've spoken to within the program, is just end this freaking season, move on to a fresh start in spring ball, and at least on the other side, you've got Wazoo, who played for for the interim head coach, who hung with them. He got the job. Like, Wazoo is going to be invested both from an emotional and a preparation standpoint, because in addition to the COVID, Miami had no idea. Like, everything was on hold until they figured out their AD and their coaching situation. So, I mean, I think Wazoo will wind up closing. It's probably around a field goal favorite. So I would jump in on Wazoo before this line gets out of hand.
Yeah, I'm hunting that one down right now. I like that. I looked at it. It's the early game on New Year's Eve, like 11 a.m. I won't even be drinking too much yet. It'll be nice and easy. Pad the pockets a little before I go out that evening. So, well, yeah, and it is December. Yep, December 31st, New Year's Eve.
I'll be on the set watching that game as we're finishing up College game day.
The Wake Forest game is actually scheduled to be earlier than that, like 8 a.m. Pacific time. We'll see what happens with that based on who they play. So, but again, appreciate you stopping by. Enjoy your quiet Christmas. I'm gonna enjoy mine as well. And best of luck with all your bets this weekend.
Thank you. You guys do the same.
Thanks, Chris. I love it. A little college football action. A little something to do. That's nice. It's afternoon.
I like college football.
Miami of Ohio, North Texas. Get something there. We'll figure it out.
A lot of college football over the next week. Not so much in the world of college basketball.
No.
It is
Everybody goes home.
Little lighter of a schedule. Hopefully they're not playing defense today, because I do have an over. There's only a handful of games today. There are no games tomorrow. There are no games Christmas Day. There are no games on Sunday. We will have no basketball till Monday. If you want Monday plays, obviously I don't do this show on Sunday nights or Sunday at noon, wherever we're at. So follow me on the BETSPERTS app, ANDY. I'll put any Monday plays I have in on the app, probably Sunday night late. I'll probably do some overnights just because I'll be having a busy Monday morning getting back into the swing of it. But Wagner Fairfield over, only play for me tonight. This one is in Connecticut. So Fairfield will be hosting. Fairfield, a bit of a wagon. I almost backed them. It wasn't quite a big enough edge. I had a small edge on Fairfield to win this game and cover. But at the same time, the edge on the total was a little higher. A couple of offenses I really like, especially my Fairfield offense. They can absolutely put up some points. And then Wagner, decent enough defense, but they do a couple things I don't certainly care for a team looking to stop a wagon like Fairfield. So an over on this one. I do have a little bit of a lean on another one. I'm hemming and hawing. I haven't played it yet. If I do, I'll put something out on BETSPERTS and Twitter for sure. But just one play for me tonight. And Alex is tripling that in the association.
Yes, 11 games tonight. Again, the schedule's kind of funky. There might be another play. I'm looking at the Warriors in some way, shape, or form. Just a lot of COVID guys for them. So curious to see. These games have been postponed yet. We'll see. Fingers crossed. We'll start with the Denver Nuggets. Only laying 3 points here. Actually, now back down to 2.5. Where I was able to grab it earlier. They're at home. It's a back-to-back, but if you've watched the Nuggets historically, they tend to lose the first end of the back-to-back and perform very well on the second end of a back-to-back. They actually kind of throw off some of the data there on how hard it is for back-to-backs, given the way they kind of set up for them. And you saw it last night as Oklahoma City was doing well against them, starting to close the game out. They didn't really try to fight. They left everybody on the bench, got it together. This will be their last game at home, obviously, before a little bit of Christmas break. They're playing the Hornets. The Hornets at the end of a long, goofy road trip. Finish that road trip in Denver in altitude, which is always tough. They have had a couple days, I think 2 days off, so at least a day to adjust. Maybe that'll be a little bit better, but again, I think mainly here the market just a little bit slow to react to the Nuggets being a little special when it comes to these back-to-back situations. I mean, I have this out to 6. I can tweak it, get it out to almost 7. The Nuggets should be great tonight. Absolutely no center on the Hornets. It's going to slow down Nikola Jokic at all. So like the Nuggets here quite a bit, -2.5. I've actually played this out to 4. So you've got a little bit of wiggle room. And then 2 team total unders here. Basically going to fade the 2 teams that played in arguably the worst basketball game on national TV of the year. I guess does the NBA count as national TV? I don't know. But the Hawks played the Magic last night in a game that I think finished 102-98, something like that. And I expect things to be just as ugly, if not uglier tonight. The Hawks, again, back-to-back, coming out to play a 76ers team, a Sixers team that very much has had these Hawks games circled on their schedule after falling apart in their playoff series last year, losing to the Hawks at 7. The Hawks, again, just really going to struggle to put up any points. The Sixers, pretty healthy, about as healthy as any team in the league. I expect them to put up a good defensive effort here. I just struggle to see how the Hawks get to 100. And then similarly, you look at the Magic, they're going to go play a Pelicans team that has played good defense, plays at a slow pace. And again, no Cole Anthony, none of the guys that really drive any sort of high offensive efficiency or even a quick pace at all. So Nuggets -3 and 2 team totals under 100.5. A low-scoring, ugly night.
That wasn't thumbs down to your plays. That was under.
That's good. I like that.
Ugly basketball. Let's cheer for ugly basketball. You might as well watch college, huh?
Yeah.
There's just not enough games.
Maybe spend some time with the wife before we get stuck with family for 2 days.
I probably will. I'm just sitting here waiting to get the Bloody Mary bar out in the morning. Niners take on the Titans in a game I'm not excited about. I don't know why. It feels like working on a Friday night, having to watch this game at all. We'll do a halftime show. Of course we will. Drew will be.
Absolutely.
I think Drew is on the East Coast. So this will be a little later for him. I think he's he went down. I think he traveled. That's why we didn't do shows yesterday. He was doing a little traveling. And when you go from Long Beach to the East Coast, it's like a 19-hour flight with the time change.
How many clothes did he have to buy? There's no way that he's prepared for an East Coast winter.
Oh, I'm sure he's got a puffy vest. He seems like a puffy vest guy. Those are actually a lot warmer than you think. But Niners -3, total 44. I don't have a play here. I don't like anything. I have some props I'm going to put out later. Otherwise, we're just let's get to the meat. Let's get to this first touchdown score.
Let's do it. This one was kind of fun. Again, we've had a bunch of games here lately where there's a lot of kind of high concentrated touchdown opportunities. And normally with the Titans, you would expect that. But no more Derrick Henry here. The 49ers really do spread the ball around quite a bit. Although George Kittle, he's obviously kind of the premier target. But we've got a handful of pretty interesting names here today. Again, the top of the market, you're looking at the running backs, Jeff Wilson, you've got Dante Foreman, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. Again, if I had to pick somebody, it'd probably be Deebo Samuel. He seems to be getting a lot of targets and just using him in really interesting ways. But again, this is all about value. And as I look at the value here, Brandon Ayuk at 14-1. I would have him at single digits here in this. He is the most targeted 49er inside the red zone by a fair margin. Inside the 10, he's got about 24% of the targets. Next closest player is less than, I think, 12 is Kittle with 12, Deebo with 16. But again, a pretty big lead there and a similar lead inside the 20. Love Ayuk here at double digits, 14-1. And again, they use him in some gadget stuff. I mean, they've been running with Deebo a lot, but sometimes you'll see a sweep or something with Ayuk. Really like him at 14-1. Ryan Tannehill, I think he scored the first touchdown. I don't know if it was this Sunday, the previous Sunday for the Titans. He runs the ball quite a bit. I don't think anyone really thinks of him as a running quarterback, but he has as many rushing touchdowns as any quarterback does just about any year. Poke around, should be able to find a 20-1 on him. I'd play anything 18-1 or better, which you should find. Now, this is a name I've been trying to figure this out. There's like an extra U in there. It's not Juan, it's not Juwan, it's Juwan Jennings. I'm not really sure, but somebody that's really popped up the target share list for these 49ers over the past couple of weeks. The last 3-4 games, we've seen a ton of him. And even again, as you look at some season-long numbers, he has almost 12% of the targets inside the 10-yard line here for this 49ers team. And again, most of that volume over the last couple games. So Mr. Jennings, 28-1. And again, if you're putting together DFS lineups, I'd go wide receiver heavy tonight. Both of these teams give up a lot of yards and touchdowns to wide receivers. That's why I was finally able to grab one in here. Now we'll go back to some tight ends here. The two tight ends for the Titans, Jeff Swaim and Michael, whatever. Pruitt. Michael. Swaim hit for us earlier in the year at like 40. They've got him down to 30. Still happy to play him at 30. Pruitt has actually been taking some of Swaim's targets here. The Titans have basically gone out with kind of this two big tight end sets, and you've seen a lot of interesting stuff from the two of those guys near the goal line. Again, they're not going to get the ball much, inside the 20s here, but when you get close to the goal line, Tannehill's probably going to run it in, or we get a good shot at either one of these tight ends here. So 30-1, 50-1, and Jimmy Garoppolo at 50-1. Again, just kind of a system numbers play. I'll play almost any quarterback 40-1 or better, especially one that has rushed for touchdowns and moves around quite a bit. Again, the 49ers are not afraid to let him run and move around. So a nice big six-pack for us here tonight. Ayuk, Tannehill, Jennings, Swaim, Pruitt, Garoppolo.
And with that, we wish you a Merry Christmas if that's something you do. If it's not,
whatever holiday,
you're probably going to get some time off anyway from work.
Have a
the
nice
best
couple
part
of days
about
with unoccupied movie theaters.
Yeah, go do whatever. Hang out, see family, chill, drink, eat, party, gamble, drink, party, gamble. And that's my MO for the weekend. And
They know
since
what
I have
that
a
means.
meeting at 11 a.m. Central, I'm going to wish you guys farewell. We'll catch you again Monday.
Have a good week.